together.
So, good morning, everyone, and welcome to this Dheera project today again. I think today all our students from Happy Valley School have joined. So, I would like to welcome all of you. Good morning, and now your schools have started. I mean, they have you have morning sessions. That is why we are taking this session today at so early, and you must have finished your lunch. So you sit back and see what we want to tell you. And we have the session here where we are having six topics which will be covered in 2 hours. So you have to listen to that, and then after that you have to do the post test and fill the feedback form. Then only you are going to be getting the certificate of participation, which will be signed by our president of our Gynae Society, Dr. Shanta Kumari Madam, and from the UNICEF. So just sit back and relax and listen what we want to tell you, and don't make noise there. Okay. So over to Shriman. I think we have to first play the Shanta Kumari Madam's video. So we'll start with that.
Dear friends, Foxians, and the women of my country, I am Dr. Shanta Kumari, President of the Federation of Obstetrics and Gynecological Societies of India. As a doctor and a woman myself, I have observed very closely how prevalent violence against women is across the strata of our society and the enormous impact it has on the health of our women. My theme for the year as the President Foxy is Foxy for all always, and Dheera, stop violence against women.
Dr. Shanta Kumari, who has relentlessly campaigned for the issues of girl child. I was happy to be the ambassador of Foxy Figure Ox in 2013, and I hope that me being an ambassador has motivated a lot of girls and many families.
Violence against women is a serious human rights violation, leading to injury and sometimes even death. Unfortunately, 1 in 3 women experience some sort of physical and sexual violence during their lifetime. Violence in pregnancy is also widely prevalent, leading to unwanted pregnancies, unsafe abortions, neglected pregnancies with no antenatal care, all these contributing to maternal morbidity and near miss. As obstetricians and gynecologists, we have a great opportunity to assess and support women who experience violence. Because of the unique opportunity where we get to see them during the pregnancy, during the family planning visits, during their annual checkups, and multiple other times when they come to us. I strongly believe that by eliminating the violence against women, we are not only reaching the SDG goals, but also creates a just and equal society for our women. Until we make men and boys active partners, we can never end the violence against women. In an endeavor to sensitize our own fraternity, my initiative of Dheera was started to eliminate violence against women.
I completely support her vision and mission as President Foxy, and also especially support her campaign, Dheera, Stop Violence Against Women.
It was in 2016 at the launch of Dheera. We brought together the police, the obstetrician gynecologists, the National Commission for Women, the women and men on one single platform to wear orange and say no to violence against women. We organized the public forum and cyclothon to launch Dheera. In 2017 at the Foxy Figo Congress, we partnered with men and organized the bikeathon and the flash mob. The high point of Dheera was at the International Figo Congress at Rio, Brazil in 2018. The declaration on no to violence against women was signed with Figo and WHO. It was here global societies pledged their support to end this violence against women. The Dheera campaign and march at the World Congress of Figo in Rio in 2018 got wide international publicity. No change is possible unless the young minds adopt it and make it a part of their life. Young minds are open and creative. They accept change. Foxy has always worked with adolescents for their health and well-being. Dheera this year adds a new page. I'm happy to share with you all that we are launching the Dheera online school certification course across the length and breadth of our country in all the schools. Foxy for all always. Dheera, stop violence against women.
I think, madam, you will start. Hello. Good morning, students, teachers. How are you? You all can write in the chat box. Please don't unmute yourself. Today, we are going to talk about violence against women. And I am taking the first three presentations. That is, what do we mean by violence against women? What are the types of violence against women? And how we can manage violence against women. So I am starting with my first talk, that is, what do we mean by violence against women? So our President Madam has already highlighted in her video message what is WOW and what we are doing under the project Dheera. This registration and pre-test you all have done. That is why you all have logged in here. And after the sessions, don't forget to do the formalities of post-test and feedback form. So Dheera, what do we mean by this project? That is courageous. Dheera means courageous, the power of being together. Not all men practice violence against women, but all women, they live with the threat of male violence every single day all over the earth. And I'm sure you all will agree with
Lakshmi madam, sorry to
Madam,
interrupt.
you have not shared your screen, madam. Screen is not been shared. हाँ मैंने स्क्रीन ही तो शेयर नहीं करी. हाँ अभी दिख रही है. Yes, yes. I forgot. I am hyper. Now my screen is visible. Yes, yes, madam.
Yes.
Yeah. So dear students, I will start with the first slide. What do we mean by Dheera? Dheera means courageous. That is the power of being together. Not all men practice violence against women, but all women live with the threat of male violence every single day all over the earth. I am sure you all will agree with me, and your responses please post in the chat box. Don't unmute yourself. So let us see what is violence against women. It is a global human rights violation. This has short-term and long-term physical, economic, and psychological consequences, and the woman who faces violence against women prevents their full and equal participation in society. The magnitude is just beyond our imagination, and the conditions created by this COVID lockdown has also increased violence against women by 22%. Are you aware of or have you seen any woman being beaten, threatened, scolded at home, school, or neighborhood? Again, I'm sure you all must have witnessed either in your family, in your extended family, in your neighborhood, this kind of violence against women. So do you think this is right? Start posting your answers in the chat box. What is such behavior called? And is there any word to describe this behavior? So it is called violence against women. Violence against women is the most shameful human rights violation, but it is most widespread. It knows no boundaries of geography, culture, or wealth, and as long as it continues, there is no real towards equality, development, and peace in the society, and in turn in the whole world. So what exactly is war? Violence against women means forcing a woman to live in fear, and this fear can be mental, sexual, or physical. The roots of this violence are very, very deep rooted.
It is because of toxic masculinity, gender bias, sexism. India, we have a patriarchal society and we do have gender stereotyping in our society. So what is gender bias? Again, in India, there is a definite preference for boys. Girls are considered as burdens. You all must have heard about the feticide and and whenever there is a boy and a girl in the family, the girl child is neglected right from her educational rights to her health issues. So what do we mean by patriarchy? Patriarchy is a system of society or government in which man holds the power and women are largely excluded from the decision making process. You all must have seen in your family as well that your father takes the ultimate decision and most of the households mother has no say in the decision making. Now let us see the example of gender stereotyping. So when we think of a girl, what are the characteristics which comes in front of our eyes? That is, girl means she has to be faithful, emotional, she has to be tolerant, sympathetic, and she has to be dependent on a male in the family. But when we think of boys, then boys are considered to be competitive, logical, strategic, aggressive, and they have to be independent. So this is just a gender stereotyping. What is sexism? It is prejudice, stereotyping, and discrimination based solely on the purpose of the gender. That is just because she is a girl, there is a discrimination against her. Can you think of any example of sexism? If yes, post it in the chat box. What do we mean by toxic masculinity? You must have heard these sentences very often that I am a man, I am strong, I don't cry, I can control, I am the boss, and I am the savior. So this is nothing but mentality of toxic masculinity. And why we doctors have raised voice against violence against women? Because we all are gynecologists and we are the first point of contact who recognizes the changes in the lifestyle of the woman. Most health problems of the woman are rooted in the violence, and more so, this violence against women causes several other problems when she is pregnant. So why Dheera? This is our campaign and we all want you all to join our hands to spread this campaign, and our target is to reach out to almost 40,000 gynecologists across India, and we want to reach out to almost 500,000 boys and girls of 9th to 12th grade and also 15,000 teachers. So this is our WOW campaign started by our Foxy president, Dr. Shanta Kumari, and to tell you that it is really doing great work since last 6 months. So this was what do we mean by violence against women. Now in my next presentation, I am going to tell you in detail what are the types of violence against women. Now I will not forget to share, types of. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Now it is slideshow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when we say violence, dear students and teachers, it is not only physical violence. The violence can be psychological and it can be a combination of both physical and psychological violence. The examples of physical violence are acid attacks, honor killings, femicide, sexual violence. Psychological violence is also very, very rampant in our society, And the few examples of psychological violence are financial manipulation, emotional abuse, bullying, stalking, eve teasing, and criminal intimidation, and combination of both physical and psychological violence. To give you just one example, that is domestic violence. So first let us see physical violence. Acid attack, you all must have heard, you must have read in the newspaper. It is a type of assault where a corrosive substance is thrown on the other person, and sometimes this is used as a sort of blackmail. This is a case study. This is also, I am sure you all are well versed with it. It is there on every social media. This is a real case example of Miss Lakshmi Agarwal. She was attacked in 2005 when she was just 15 years old. And why she was attacked? Because she rejected the romantic advances of a man who was double her age. And for more details and to watch her inspiring story, go and watch the movie Chapak. So if you see anybody or any woman who is vulnerable to this kind of attack, what can you do? If the attack is threatened or attempted, then you can report this to a trusted adult or police. Make sure to stay away from the person who is threatening you. Don't travel alone, always travel in company. And remember, under Section 326B IPC, this is a punishable offense. If already attacked, then you have to report this attack to doctor and make sure to get treatment as soon as possible. Again, report this attack to the adult. You can talk to your parents, teachers, police, or anyone whom you trust, but make sure to stay away from the perpetrator of that crime. You have to report this attack to the authorities. And if you report and you follow up, then the perpetrator can get punishment in the form of imprisonment of 10 years. Now, what is honor killing? It is mostly in the Hindi belt of our India, where there is murder of an individual, either an outsider or a member of a family. Usually, if a girl marries outside her caste, then she is killed. कि लड़की ने हमारी नाक कटा दी है, समाज में हमारी इज्जत नहीं बची है, and her own family members, in the name of honor killing, they kill that girl. What is femicide? It is a gender-based crime and it arises when society prefers male over females, and it is really rampant not only in India but across the globe. And this femicide can take the form of woman-based hate crime, infanticide, that is killing a daughter after she is born, and feticide, that is if a mother comes to know that she is carrying a female fetus, then she does female feticide, that is she kills this fetus inside her uterus. Now let us come to another form of physical violence, that is sexual assault. And in this act, a man touches a woman against her will. But this sexual assault is also punishable. This causes long-term mental trauma to the victim. And if you see this sexual assault taking place, stop it or call for help. Be an active bystander, which Dr. Pratibha will be telling you in her presentation. We have various acts to safeguard the woman against this kind of physical violence. And don't forget to remember that we do have POCSO Act, which prevents both boys and girls who are less than 18 years of age from any kind of sexual assault. If you are a survivor of physical violence, sexual assault, please, first and foremost is that you should not shame yourself, because you are not to be blamed for that assault. You should not take a bath or wash yourself. Don't change your clothes. What happened, you should write down. You have to inform the police, report it in a timely manner so that there is evidence. Because unless and until there is evidence, there the police cannot follow up this case and the perpetrator cannot get punishment. Don't be afraid to speak up, as you are never at fault and an abuser is bound to repeat actions. So it is your duty to report this incident not only for you, but for the safety of other girls and women as well. So now let us come to from physical to the examples of psychological violence. What do we mean by financial manipulation? Where the man in the household takes control of the finances of the female in the household. Even if she is earning, her finances, her earnings are controlled by the husband or the man in the household. So to give you a case example, this is a case study where Raj, he monitors his wife's bank account and does not let her buy what she wants. Raj's parents, they don't let Ananya go to work. What can Ananya do? Post your replies in the chat box so that we know what do your responses are if you see this kind of financial manipulation taking place around your surroundings. Now, emotional abuse is also very, very common. What is emotional abuse? It is undermining a person's sense of self-worth through constant criticism. And what are the examples of this constant criticism? Calling by name calling, damaging the partner's relationship with the children. Usually these parents do. That is, they will tell कि तेरी मम्मी ऐसी है, तेरी मम्मी ऐसी है, वो काम पे जाती है, तेरी तरफ ध्यान नहीं देती है. There are n numbers of way whereby a father can damage the mother's image in front of children, and वाइफ को अपने फैमिली से नहीं मिलने देना, मायके नहीं जाने देना. These are types of emotional abuse. To make my case clear, I would like to quote a case study here. Shreya is married to Ashok, and the Ashok's colleagues, they mock him for earning less because he is earning less than his wife. Feeling hurt over this pride, Ashok takes out his frustration by drinking more often, frequent rage behavior, temper tantrums by breaking things, yelling, blackmailing Shreya for, and always blackmailing that he will divorce her. This constant fault-finding behavior of Ashok takes a toll on mental health of Shreya. So what do you all feel? What should Shreya do in these circumstances? Post your responses in the chat box. Coming to bullying. What is bullying? It is continuous harassment, either verbal or physical. And in this era, it can be a cyber bullying as well. So this is a case study to make you understand bullying in detail. Neil, who is senior to Ria, and Ria rejects his advances. He feels embarrassed over this behavior, and to bandage his pride, he starts up a rumor that Ria is a bad girl. He starts to harass her every day, starts calling her fat, ugly, and by other such derogatory terms. He throws eggs at her house, and with his friends, he pours water on her homework and provokes all his friends to tease her whenever they see her. If you see this taking place, what you think you all should do? How you all can help Ria? Whom to contact? Again, start posting your responses in the chat box. What is cyberbullying? Now, in this era of internet, each and every student and every teacher should know about cyberbullying. It is an online form of bullying and abuse. Here, the technology is used to write aggressive, embarrassing, or hateful messages. And the types of cyberbullying are threatening or abusing text messages, creation of embarrassing images or videos and threatening to make it viral, sharing these fake videos, creating fake accounts, stealing your online identities, sharing sexually explicit messages. Do you know that females are twice more likely to be victims of cyberbullying? And these are the examples where you are deliberately excluding a person from your group, you are doing bad gossip behind her back, frapping where you are impersonating a person by logging into someone else's social networking account. That is why you all should have a secure password, and you should not share that password of your social accounts with anyone, not even with your friends. Harassment, outing, cyber stalking, and creating fake profiles are very common nowadays, and they all are a form of cyberbullying. So what you all can do if you are being cyberbullied? First and foremost, we say that prevention is better than cure. So check the platform's anti-bullying policy before you accept the terms and conditions. Most of the times we don't read the terms and conditions and we just tick mark that we accept all the terms and conditions. So at your age, make it a habit to read each and every word of the terms and conditions. And if you are in doubt about those terms and conditions, get in contact with their customer care representatives before you accept those terms and conditions. If you are actually a target of cyberbullying, then you can block that site, you can block that person. But before that, make sure to collect the screenshot. Sometimes out of the embarrassment, the girls, they delete those screenshots. And once you delete, you don't have any evidence about cyberbullying. So save those screenshots and then go ahead and block that person and report this cyberbullying. Where you can report? You can approach the cyber cell. It is there in each and every city. You don't have to go personally. You can do online cyberbullying complaints. And if you are unable to lodge a complaint online or on cyber cell, then you can reach to police stations. Many police stations, they have a woman oriented she teams. They go out of way to help you out, and they are very soft spoken and proactive as far as the students are concerned. Stalking is also a common type of psychological violence where an individual follows a woman wherever she goes without her consent. And remember, this stalking can be physical as well as it can be a cyber stalking. This, whether physical or cyber stalking, it is a punishable offense provided you keep the evidence with you. This is a case study of stalking where Sanjay, who is 17 years old, starts to follow around Meera, who is also of his age, everywhere, wherever she goes, and he knows her routine. He takes pictures of her without her consent. He joins her tuitions, and his friends, they encourage him and they start comparing him to the popular movie stars in the Bollywood movies. So do you all think that this is right? Meera definitely feels uncomfortable with this behavior. What Meera should do in these circumstances? Post your replies in the chat box so that we understand what is your response to this kind of psychological violence. Now let us come to voyeurism. What is it? It is watching or taking pictures of women without her consent, without her knowledge. Most of the times this happens in public places. Without your consent or without your knowledge, a person clicks your pictures and you are not aware of it. But if you come to know, remember, you can protest, you can take action, and this is also punishable offense. Eve teasing, many of the girls, they do experience eve teasing at some or the other part of their life. This is unwanted remarks, sexual advances by a man to insult a woman in a public place. This is also a punishable offense. So have guts, have courage, and protest wherever you are subjected to eve teasing. When someone is threatening to cause death or to hurt you grievously or to destroy your property, this is called as criminal intimidation, and this is also a punishable offense. Sexual harassment is rampant, especially at the workplaces. And what do we mean by sexual harassment? It is unwelcome sexual advances, the request for sexual favors, sexual remarks, showing her pornography without her consent. All these constitute as sexual harassment. This is also a punishable offense. To give you an example of sexual harassment, this is a case based in the rural scenario where unseasonal rain has caused a farmer to lose a considerable amount of crop. To make his ends meet, he takes a loan from the village shark called as Raghu. After a few months, this farmer is unable to pay back the loan, so he offers the Raghu that his daughter can come and do the household chores for Raghu. Taking advantage of this helpless situation, this desperation, Raghu started sexually harassing the girl. Now, if you saw this happening, what could you do? Post your replies in the chat box. Now, the combination of physical and psychological violence is domestic violence. And domestic violence, it need not be between a married couple only. It is any pattern of behavior which is used to gain control or to maintain a power over another partner. And the main issues of domestic violence is that most of the times the victim does not know that they are being abused. It is hard for the victim to believe that a trusted partner can be so manipulative, and this also include harassment from in-laws. So these are the examples of violence, and these examples are intimidation, emotional abuse, deliberately excluding that person, denying, blaming, using children as a tool to gain power over another partner, using economic abuse, threatening that person, and the list is endless, whereby you can have physical or psychological violence on the victim. But remember, all the students and teachers, this is a very, very important slide. This abuse is never a one-time act. It always comes in cycles, and this is a repetitive cycle. Once the abuser commits the abuse, he starts apologizing. He said that, oh, I am so sorry that I committed this abuse. I should not have done this. Then he goes into that remorse phase and the victim forgives. Okay, this person is asking for forgiveness, so let us forgive. Then they both start living happily. But if some kind of tension again props up in their relationship, the perpetrator again goes into that mode of committing violence, and again commits violence. So this cycle goes on and on. Committing a crime, then apologizing, the victim forgives, something crops up, again he commits crime, and you have to break this cycle of abuse. Remember, we do have a Domestic Violence Act, and this act covers physical, sexual, verbal, and economic abuse. It grants immediate protection to the victim, and it punishes the abuser with imprisonment up to 3 years. So we all are working towards ending WOW, but it can be done only with one step at a time. So you all have to fill the post-test and feedback form to earn your certificates. So I'm sure now you all understand what do we mean by violence against women, what are the types of violence against women, and now I am telling you how you all can manage violence against women at your level. If there are any questions, we will be taking after this talk is over. So you all can post your questions in the chat box, and we will take all the questions in the question answer session. Dr. Pratibha, my slide is visible?
Yes, madam.
Yeah. So now let us come to know the management. Before we come to know the management, we all should know what are the factors that contribute to violence against women. Because if we know the factor, then we can take action towards that factor. Mainly, it is the alcohol, the superiority complex in the male, the stress, anger issues, lack of compassion, troubled childhood, if the man is taking drugs, and the deep-rooted causes are social discrimination and gender bias. This causes violence against women because this is the mindset in the male which is nurtured since childhood. Because since childhood, the boys are brought up in a certain way that they are superior, they have to be strong, they have to be independent. And since childhood, a girl is told that she has to compromise, she has to adjust, she has to be soft spoken. So this is the mindset from the childhood which has been inculcated. So what to do if you know someone being abused? First and foremost, don't be afraid. Listen to the victim's story. Reassure them to stay brave. Friends, do believe their story. Do not blame the victim. Keep an eye on the situation to make sure it is not getting too dangerous. Ask the victim about the immediate plans, and you have to report this violence to a higher authority, and this higher authority can be a teacher, can be a parent, can be your neighbor, a trusted friend, or to the police. Respect the decision of the victim. You should have resources to keep the conversation going, and you have to be very careful that any actions taken by you do not harm you or the victim. So this is the first principle which you should follow. What to do if you are being abused? So you have to recognize the toxic behavior. I have already explained the cycle of abuse to you. You have to protect yourself by leaving that environment. Avoid escalating situations. You have to report the incident. Keep evidence of the abuse by recording and photographing. Plan a safety kit in case you have to leave your home in a hurry. And please let someone know whom you trust about this abuse, because unless and until you speak, you share, how your friends or your family will know that you are being abused. and you can confide in your friend, your neighbor, your doctor, or a police officer, but do confide that you are getting abused. Speak out. Don't let the abuser rob you of your voice. Yeah, I know claiming your voice is difficult because everyone gets so much disturbed emotionally that you don't feel like taking any action or keeping that evidence or taking photographs, but you have to claim your voice back. Believe me, your words have power. Speaking up is the first step to end violence against women, because if you are not speaking, आप सब साइलेंस में सहन कर रही हो, तो you are only responsible for that violence against you, because you are not speaking up only. So how anybody can come and help you and rescue you from that violence? Take a stand, because your abuser is afraid of your voice. Most of the times females बोलती ही नहीं हैं, और अब्यूजर को लगता है कि अरे इसे तो सब सहन करने की आदत है, तो वो इंसान और ज्यादा अब्यूज करने लगता है, चाहे वो पति पत्नी हो, भाई बहन हो, फ्रेंड्स हो. तो फर्स्ट एंड फॉरमोस्ट, जहां पर भी आपको लग रहा है कि आपका अब्यूज हो रहा है, प्लीज स्टैंड अप, ब्रेव, protest, speak up, because we don't want another generation of victims. So it is our moral responsibility also to the friends, family and teachers to give the victim a platform to speak. It is our responsibility to believe the victim, and we should not blame the victim. Stand up for justice. Don't let people forget that once someone commits abuse, they are prone to doing it again and again. Always remember the cycle of abuse, which I have explained you in my previous slide. These are some safety kits you all can download and familiarize yourself with these safety apps. They are available online. That is Smart Shahar Women Safety Shield Protection With You, Scream Alarm, Suspect Registry, Be Safe, Abhaya you can download for legal advice. Whenever you are traveling alone, don't forget to make your location live. If your location is live, your friends, your family members can know where you are and where to reach out in case you are in trouble. Whenever I am traveling alone, I always tell that taxi driver to look at me so that I click the picture of his face along with his taxi and the name and the number plate of his taxi. And I always share this photo with my family members. This itself is I can say that the taxi driver will think 100 times before thinking of even committing any kind of fraud with you. So make your location live, take the photo of the driver along with the taxi and the number plate. And whenever you are traveling alone, do chat with your family or friends. Even if your battery is completely down, your phone is switched off, do pretend that you are talking to your brother or your friend or your teacher, so that the driver knows that somebody is in constant touch with you, and the family members, they know about your location. Always remember, your presence of mind will save you from any kind of violence against you. This is the distress signal which everyone should know and remember. Can you all see my hand? This is just tuck your thumb. So this all students should know that if you are in distress and you can't speak up, you are in danger, then you can show this distress signal. But the opposite person, that is the person in the society, your family members or teachers, should also know the importance of this distress signal, that if I am seeing this distress signal, it means the person who is showing me this signal is in danger and I have to go and help this person. So what you should do when you see this distress signal? If you see this signal, check in with the person safely to find out what they need and what you can do. If you find a threat of danger, you have to call the police and the helpline numbers which I am giving you in this slide. You all can take screenshot of these helpline numbers because your safety is also important. So as soon as you see a distress signal and you feel that there are chances of physical violence, immediately call the police or these helpline numbers. That is All India Women Helpline number is 1091.
लगा के छोड़ दिए है यार हमें.
There are other helpline numbers and every city has got some other helpline number of NGOs. So you should be aware of the helpline numbers from your own city. Everyone should be aware about the reporting process if you see any kind of violence. First, you have to report this incident to the police. You have to record the statement for police within 24 hours. You have to go to the hospital for medical examination by female doctor. You have to record the statement in front of magistrate and the special court. They are bound to complete this trial within 1 year. So let's keep them safe, strong, happy, and free from violence. So dear students and teachers, now if you are having any questions on these 3 presentations, feel free to interact with us and we are here to answer your queries. Teachers, you can coordinate on their behalf if there are any questions related to what is vow, the types of vow, and management of vow.
Hello.
So if there are no questions, I will again like to re-emphasize that girls, please, your safety most of the times is in your hands. Take all the preventive measures which I have listed, and if after taking those preventive measures you are subjected to any kind of violence, be it physical, psychological or cyber, please speak up, because unless and until you speak up, nobody will be in a position to help you out. So thank you so much for your patient hearing, and I think Dr. Pratibha, you can take forward from here. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, madam. Okay. Thank you so much, madam. Can I share my screen?
जो आई है कौन नाम है? कंचन मैडम. हाँ बेटा,
बास्केटबॉल के इंचार्ज है.
पूछ लीजिए ना, आप देख लीजिए वहाँ पर चल जाइए बेटा. बास्केटबॉल
इंचार्ज है, तो बोला था कि देवानंद सर बास्केटबॉल के
नहीं बेटा,
I request you to unmute us.
चल जाइए. हाँ बेटा है.
Please mute yourself. Hello. Yeah.
हम सब बेटा का कर देंगे ना, तुम भी शैतानी करता है.
सर संगत संगत का सर.
संगत का है ना.
हम तेज है पढ़ने में.
Take the topics, ma'am.
क्या बोला? संगत का असर है सर थोड़ा. अच्छा लड़का है लेकिन
Hello, can you see my slides?
Yes, madam.
Yeah. Okay. Just a minute. Yeah. So, good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello.
madam.
Yeah, and my slides are visible, no?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So good morning, everybody. Now we have just heard what is vow and what are the types of vow and how are you going to manage that. Now I am here to talk about the role of active bystander. Now before that, I will again request you that you have already done your registration and pre-test and you should be doing your post-test and fill your feedback form. Then only the certificate of participation will be awarded to you. Now, who is a bystander? So, bystander is an individual who observes an act of violence, discrimination, or other problematic behavior, but are not its direct perpetrator. Now, in fact, he is a witness who sees or knows about the incidents and can give first-hand information. Now, bystander can be a person who they can have two choices. He can be either a part of the problem by staying silent or can be a part of the solution by helping out. Passive bystander is the one who does not act or intervene, and maybe there may be some any social influence, or there may be because of some audience inhibition or because of fear of retaliation, like they feel that why I should be indulging in such incidents, this is not my job, I should not be involving in myself in this, or this is not my problem, so why should I go and intervene in that. So that is a passive bystander, whereas an active bystander is one who takes action and try to stop it by their presence or by speaking out or by their action. So here I just want to stress that if you are an active bystander, then you are really helping the society. Now, how are you going to be an active bystander? So what way you should become a bystander, active bystander? So there are 5 Ds to make you understand that how you can be an active bystander. And the first D is a distract. That is, it is a subtle way of not to intervene in a way that so that you can just derail the incidents. So if any incident is happening, you just interrupt or you just pretend to be lost or just interfere in that incident and just make it pretend that you are not, you are not the part of it, but you just start asking some irrelevant question or just try to take off the attention of the harasser. So this will distract their attention and maybe this will be helpful. Second way of being an active bystander is by using the delaying tactics, which will reduce the severity. Here again, you can ask the victim if she was okay. You can also offer to accompany her to her destination and sit her with her for a while, and you can just make her feel comfortable, and just this may also delay the incidents. Third way of becoming an active bystander is by delegation. Delegation means by involving or taking help from the third party. Like if the incident is occurring in the marketplace, then you can ask any shopkeeper to intervene. If it is occurring in a bus, then you can ask the co-passengers or the bus conductor to intervene. And if it is occurring in a school premises, you can ask teacher or colleagues to help. The fourth D for being an active bystander is by documenting the incidents. But here, although it is a very good way of becoming an active bystander, but again, you have to be very careful in this. You have to first assess the situation, and you must first understand if anyone else is also helping that person. Because once you start documenting, then you won't be able to help that victim. So once you are assured that somebody else is helping her, then you go ahead and start recording the incidents, but you have to assess your safety also, because sometimes it can go on you. So you must be very, very careful before recording any documents of such type of incidents. And once you have recorded, you must always ask the person who was harassed that what to do with that recording, because that document doesn't belong to you. You have recorded on her behalf. So that recording should not be made public. You should never post it online, because publicizing another person's traumatic experience is no way of being an active bystander, because you are using an image or a footage of a person who is being victimized without the person's consent. It can make the person feel more depressed, and maybe she won't be able to tell you everything. Whatever incidents had happened with her, if she will feel so shameful for that, because it has become public to everyone, everybody must have come to know about that. So maybe she will not feel good, and maybe she is not going to speak out, and that is not going to be good for her, and that is not the good way of being an active bystander. And the fifth and the final way of becoming an active bystander are by directly indulging or confronting the harasser. But again, here you have to be very, very clear, you have to be confident, and you have to be cautious, because sometimes it may be risky. The harasser may indirect their abuse towards you, and it can escalate the situation. So you have to be very, very careful. Otherwise, the golden rule is that if you feel that it is not safe, then you can just take the help from the police, or you should know the police helpline number and the child helpline number. I think all of you must be knowing about the police helpline number, that is 100, and the child helpline number is 1098, which you can remember like 1098. So these numbers you should always know, that whenever you are in problem, you can call and you can take help from there. There are also many ways to get involved. You can organize actions like writing stories, posters, and nukkad natak. Or if you know some organization who is working, you can donate your time and ideas there and can become an active bystander. You must also appreciate if someone else is practicing active bystander interventions. And finally, very important, you must never ever blame the victim, because that is not the good way of doing. It is always a very, very wrong way of saying that, why did you go at the night? Because that is all retrospective statement. Because once the incident has occurred, and after that, if you are telling her that why did she go at night, why did she park her scooter there, why did she go alone, or why did she call her sister, or she should have called the police. So this way, these are all retrospective statement. You don't know in what situation she was there, why she had to go in such situation. So try to be sympathizing with the victim, and you must not be blaming the victim. That is very important. So again, I request you to kindly take your post-test and feedback after finishing the session, so that you can get the certificate of participation. And this is mainly because we have to hashtag Dheera together. Let's tweet together. And our target is to 1 lakh tweets, so that we can add courageous voice to the conversation and say no to violence against women. Thank you.
Unmute.
Hello. Now I'll take the second one, but I'll request all you to kindly please be muted.
हाँ अब हुआ.
This Mr. Devanand Mishra. Devanand Mishra, please mute yourself.
Mr. Devanand.
Not coming on. Can you see my slides? Hello?
Yes, madam, but not full screen, ma'am.
Now it is full screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So now I'll be talking you about the bridging the gender divide. This is the
Ma'am.
next topic. Hello? Can you
Yes,
hear
ma'am.
me?
It's not full screen, madam.
It's not full screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Now it is full screen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So my next topic is bridging the gender divide. A substantial divide persists between women and men, and the researcher says that the majority of women have personality traits that are quite distinct from men and vice versa. Now, this slide shows the names. So, whom do you identify with these names? Like Shiva, obviously it is a male name. Kashish, a female name. Nihar, again a male name. But do you think that that Nihar cannot be a name of a boy or a girl, or Harsha cannot be a name of a male or a female? So genders are nothing but a socially constructed concept. And if we really want to bridge a gender divide, then for that we have to come out from this mindset. Now here, do these traits characterize as male versus females? So I would like you all to ponder on this. Do you think that the males always has to be active? They always are aggressive, or they are always competitive? Females cannot be competitive, females cannot be aggressive, or female cannot be independent. So this is all in our mindset that these are the different traits which we characterize males or females. But if really we want to bridge this gender divide, we have to come out from this type of characterizing the males and females. And for that, the conditioning of gender stereotype is very important, because stereotypes are so ingrained in our culture that they have become an habitual response. Even the media and the film rewards violent male behavior. You must be watching so many movies where the heroes, they are the strong, they can do anything, all type of heroic work they can do. And the heroines, they are, or the female counterparts, they are mainly portrayed as a very soft spoken, or very always been supported, or always been protected by the male partner. So this is what is the gender stereotype. Now, even in our families, we have seen that the parents are more likely to use physical punishment with sons than their daughter with their daughters. And parents are more likely to tolerate violent behavior of boys rather than girls. And if girl shows any aggressive opinions or leadership, then she is considered as bossy rather than responsible. So stereotypical rules restrict personal choices, foster sexism, and create unequal outcomes. And I think gender bias is a social evil. I totally agree with this, because the country like India, where the women are called goddess, they are worshipped, we are having pujas, so many goddess we are worshipping every day, and we are celebrating Durga Puja, where on 9 days we are worshipping goddess. Still, in spite of that, even the tiniest of mistake on their behalf make them unworthy of being respected. Even the women at present, they are oppressed officially and unofficially, and this discrimination starts right when they are born. Male babies are preferred over female babies. All the girls, once they are born, then they are expected to do their household chores. They have to behave submissively. They have to be stayed differently. Like boys are brought up differently and the girls are brought up differently. They always, once they get married, then they maybe if they are working also, they have to leave their work to raise their children or to look after their family. Even at workplace, they have discrimination. If they become pregnant, then many times they have to leave their job. There is a massive wage gap between men and women. And still, in spite of so much of women empowerment, no woman is safe from sexual harassment such as eve teasing and catcalling. So women do not want to be treated like goddess. They should be treated like human beings. Because still, it is not a level playing field. Even still, the males are considered at the higher position than the females. There are many countries in the world who still don't give women as a voting rights. They still don't have equal access to education. Child marriage and dowry are still prevalent. Then women are given less opportunities at work. Then one man's voice is worth more than that of the many women. They have less access to the financial resources, and in spite of so much of advancement, there is not enough representation from women in many fields, including politics and leadership. So to create a gender neutral, gender responsive and equal society, all genders have to work together as allies, and this can eliminate gender inequality and gender bias. And here I just want to add one more thing, that the gender bias prejudice is not an issue of one gender. Even males are the victim for that. Now this, from here I just want to address the boys who are today listening this, that boys, it is not enough to not commit violence. Just because you are not doing anything wrong, that doesn't mean that everything is okay. Along with that, you must be willing to take these 8 active steps to ensure that no other man commits such violence. And first step is share the care. We all know that the women take almost 3 times more unpaid care and domestic work than men. They spend energy and emotional labor at their home with family instead of advancing their career or looking after themselves. Many a times they are working also, but they'll be working at home and in the office. So we must appreciate those who help you unconditionally, must respect and their sacrifices, offer to help whenever you can, and must also encourage women to take up their own interest. It's not that they will be only looking after you. They can also take their own interest. They can also flourish in their, if they want to flourish in some profession, they can do that. Then you must hold yourself accountable, because it cannot be done that boys are boys, so they can do anything. You must respect men and women equally. Be aware of your own behavior. Make sure you are open to criticism and change yourself whenever you see toxicity. You should not speak, you should speak out for that. And very important step is that you must change the notion of traditional masculinity. It's not that the males, एक बार आदमी है तो वो केवल रो नहीं सकता. He is a very strong person. He cannot be a. They have to. We have to think that it's not that men cannot be emotional. They can also be emotional. So treat everyone the same way, regardless of the gender. It's not that if the males are there, they have to be always strong. They can have emotions also. They can also become weak sometimes. So allow yourself the freedom to break norms and change stereotypes. And question those who do not allow you to challenge stereotypes. And you must not excuse men just because they are men. So make a sensible male fashionable rather than alpha male. Because sensitive men will change the next generation. Even men can cry, they can break down, they can have anxiety, even men get abused. So we have to accept all these norms also. Then you must respect other choices. When someone makes you uncomfortable, ask yourself why. Examine your biases. Consider the circumstances that you make you feel different from yours, and do not judge or shame them for their choices. And this is very important step to understand the meaning of consent. Now, consent you can understand by this. Consent you can understand by this acronym, that is fries. I think all the children, they love these French fries. So you can understand this consent by this acronym fries. F means freely given, R reversible, informed, and E is enthusiastic, and S is specific. So this is the meaning of consent, and a clear consent is the word yes, nothing else. ये नहीं हो सकता है कि अगर वो somebody is smiling at you, that means that the consent is yes. जैसे बोला जाता है कि हंसी तो फंसी, that is not true. These phrases are there, but they are not correct. And you should always take a consent. In the clear consent is yes, that should be taken as yes, and no is the no. So you should be, she should be asking it, or why you couldn't do. So these are not the consent. And again, boys will be boys, should never be accepted, and never blame a victim. Now call out sexism and harassment. If you see any sexism, then name it and stop it. Because all women experiences sexual harassment at least once in their lifetime. So call out such behavior in a safe, respectful manner. Be an active bystander, and do not excuse friends or relatives or co-worker just because they are your friends that you may get along with this. So you must report, and you must speak out if they are your friends also, that this is wrong. Now, another step is the challenge the gender stereotype. So questioning your own stereotyping and prejudice, which is very important. You must always challenge any stereotypical notion of gender, like women are not good at driving. Like if the female is driving and if something happens, like if some accident happens, so it's acha ladki chala rahi thi isliye aisa hua. So it cannot be like this. You must always counter the arguments with the fact. It's not because she was driving, that's why accident happened. It can be anybody can have this. So you must always have some arguments or some facts regarding that. So you should always challenge the gender stereotyping. And finally, the most important step is believe the survivor. If there is a survivor story, you must always listen, believe, and support. You should be sympathetic with them, because if you are not going to believe her, then the toxic culture flourishes. So be an ally and offer unconditional support. Lastly, this dialogue should change. If you Google on internet and you write women should, it will always come that they should stay at home, not work, be seen and not heard. So we must now, time has come to change this narrative so that we can make a gender neutral society. So you can see that how versatile a female can be. She can do anything, be anything. So you have to understand that. And if the bridging the gender divide, we will definitely help to build a beautiful society. So thank you so much. Again, I would like to request you to kindly registration and post-test and feedback form you have to do. Then only you will be awarded with the certificate of participation. And after the end of the session, this link will be given on the chat box also. So you can copy from there and do that. Thank you. Mr. Joel, Dr. Amita has joined?
No, madam.
Huh?
No, ma'am. I called madam also. She didn't answer my call.
Okay. So I'll be taking the last activity.
Okay, ma'am.
I'll be taking the last session also. Okay.
Okay, madam. Okay, ma'am.
Is it full screen? No. Hello. Mr. Joel, it is full screen?
Yes, madam.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the last session of this program today, and that is decoding the peer pressure. Again, it is a initiative by Dr. Shanta Kumari, our president of Foxy, who has taken this initiative to sensitize this young population. And the main highlights of this: identifying a toxic environment, good versus bad touch, the concept of consent, and the power of no. So what is peer pressure? It is any influence that peer has on each other to conform to behavior and personal habits of the group. And most of the time, peer pressure is too subtle to identify, but has such ginormous effect. So usually it is a term used when people are talking about behaviors that are not considered socially acceptable or desirable. So normally it is in the negative form, it is been taken. And these are the different types of peer pressure. Spoken when one peer openly persuade another. जैसे साथ में आप लोग बैठे हैं, आप लोग एक दूसरे से बात कर रहे हैं, तो openly they will tell you कि you have to, what they are doing, you have to do that. So that is the open pressure. Then what is unspoken? When one peer is persuaded by the exposure to the behavior. If someone else is doing something which you feel that it is good, so you start following that same pattern. So that is unspoken peer pressure. Third is a direct peer pressure, where one peer has to make on the spot decision. Like if your friend is offering you a cigarette, so you have to make decision there that what you have to do. You have to take or you have to not to take. So that is a direct peer pressure, and how strong you are, that mainly signifies there. Now, indirect peer pressure is when a peer overhears another gossiping and change behavior due to indirect pressure. Like if you are staying together and if you are seeing somebody is doing some different type of works, and then you start thinking that even I will start behaving like same way. So that is an indirect peer pressure. Negative peer pressure is when a peer is persuaded into behavior that is against their moral code. Sometimes they don't want to do that, but just because they have to stay in that group or they have to continue that friendship, they start using that type of behavior which is not which is against to their moral code. And there is also a positive peer pressure where a peer is influenced by the behavior that is healthy and responsible. And sometimes, like, there are few who are good at studies, so you start following that see, they are doing so good, even I will start working like that. So that is a positive type of peer pressure. So once you are in a group, you must always know what are the signs of toxic environment. You must be well aware that what is the places where you should not be visiting, or what are the toxic environment which can make you feel bad, or which can make you, you should be away from that type of environment. Like when your friends make you feel bad about yourself, you are in a group, but whenever they are talking with you, they are always abusing you, or you are always making you feel, so that is not a good environment for you. Then your friendship is on their terms. Like if you want to be in some group, they will say, okay, every day you have to bring this in the tiffin, then only you can stay with me, or you can have a friendship with me. So that is again, they are making their own terms so that you can be friends with to each other. So that is also not a good environment for you. Then you are never sure where you stand. Sometimes you are in a group, but you are always, you feel that maybe you are there, but you are not there also. So it's like that, you are not being trusted there. So that is also not a good environment for you. Then gossip is a constant about friends. Then when the effort is only one-sided, only you are trying to be with them and they are not trying, and they always oppose you. So that is not again a good place where you should be going. Then there, those don't, sometimes they don't respect your boundaries. They will be touching you, which is not good for you. So, but still you want to stay with them. So that is not good. You must understand that that friendship or that type of group is not good for you. Then you also feel pressure to do things which you don't want to do. Again, that is again a toxic environment. Then there is a competition to be a popular, or when you are terrified that one mistake will make you leave that place or that group. So that is again not good for you. And also there are boys, or there are the girls, or there are the groups where they will encourage you your worst trait. You are good at something, but they will say, no, 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 you should not be doing this. This is good for you. So you must understand the difference in that. So how to avoid this uncomfortable situation? Normally, when you are in groups, you should always avoid to go out with the strangers. You should make sure that your parents and siblings know about your whereabouts. Then you must always carry phone with you. Then you must also respect other people's boundary, and you must also draw your boundaries. That okay, this much is okay, but after that this is my limit. I cannot do beyond this. And you must be very, very confident to say no to anything which is uncomfortable for you. If you feel that you are not comfortable there, you should always leave that place, or you should always have this much of voice there to say no to that. And in spite of that, if you are having problem, then you are always call police, and the number you must know that is 100. And if you feel some sense of danger, you must call police, or you must confront someone. It is very important that you must differentiate the toxic people. That is the first way of cleansing toxicity. And for that, you must know that which type of boys you have to avoid. This is for the girls, that which type of boys you should not be talking, or we should not be making friends. Those boys who are against feminism, those boys who are rude to their mothers. So if they cannot respect their mother, they are never going to respect you also. Then the boys who don't respect your physical boundaries, they will be touching you anywhere. So that is, they are not good for you. Boys who always pressurize you to send you nudes, or those boys who start to fight with you if you don't listen to them, or boys who use slur languages with you, or boys who comment on a girl's appearance without her asking for an opinion, or those boys who crack bad jokes. So these boys are not good for you. You should not be friendly with those. Even this holds good for girls also. The boys should avoid such girls who don't think it's unmanly to cry, or the girls who hit or slap their boyfriends, or the girls who are totally materialistic. They will be with you only if you feed them, or if you take them to the cinema, or if you take them to the restaurant, then only they will be your friend. Otherwise, they'll say, okay, we quit, I'll be going with someone else. So these girls are not good. Then the girls who call you with some other girls with bad words, so these girls are not good. Then the girls who don't respect your physical boundaries. Even for the boys, it is very important that the girls, the way they touch you, it's not good. If they don't like it, they can say no to that. Then the girls who call you a girl just because thinking that it is an insult. Then the girls who don't think man can be a victim of abuse or rape. So such girls are not good, and you should stay away from such type of company. So how are you going to set your boundaries so that you are comfortable? So you must learn to put yourself first, and then you should set your boundaries so that you are safe and you can avoid such situations. Like if you are with somebody and if they are talking, if you are talking on phone, and if your friend is shouting at you, then you can say that I'll end up the call if you continue to shout at me. Or I can say, or if you are not liking something, then you can say that I can stay only for half an hour, I'm going because I don't like this place. So you have to speak out, and you have to be very confident in that. Then you can also say thank you for your offer, unfortunately I cannot make it, or I'm not comfortable discussing that, please do not discuss this with me. If you don't like something what they are talking to you, you can straight away you can say that. So these are the boundaries you can set for yourself so that you are comfortable. Or if somebody is asking some favor, then you should say that I need time to think about it, I'll come back to you. I don't respond to work emails or at the weekend. So these are some bahanas you can make. So I'm not comfortable with you. If you do it again, I'll leave. So these are the ways you can uh, set your boundaries and can avoid such situations. Then something about the good versus bad touch. I think I'll request you to kindly please mute yourself. Praveen Kumar Jha. So you must, you all must be knowing about this good touch and bad touch. And this you must have read in your moral science books also. And peer pressure can make it feel like all touches is acceptable, which is not true. That is very important to understand. So whenever you feel or you are uncomfortable with such type of any touch, you should always speak out, and you should always have a power to say no. So in this picture, you can see what are the red places where they have made these red points are mainly the bad touches. So if somebody is touching there, that is not a good touch. Then there are certain touches which are good touches, which also you should know, but then you should be very aware of it, that what way they are touching you. I mean, it is not that they are just they can be just patting you, so that doesn't mean that that is good touch. So you have to make it understand you. If you feel it uncomfortable, then you can always speak out and say no, because no has a very great power. And the concept of consent is very important, because consent is a permission for doing anything. I have just told you that yes is the consent and no is the no. So always, if you are doing something, you should always ask for the consent, and do not assume consent just because somebody is smiling at you, or just because they are talking to you, or just because we are together, or you have gone to a restaurant together and had coffee. That doesn't mean that everything is yes for you. So you must always respect the consent. It should be a clear consent. Yes, that is the consent. So never coerce consent. And what does no means? No can be in any form, like stop. If somebody is saying stop, that is no. Turning away, I don't want to. Shoving your way, leave me alone, pass out, I'm not ready. Pushing you away, I don't feel like it. Drunk or drugged, that also means no. Get away from me, screaming, don't, crying. So these are all the ways of saying no to anybody. And the yes means only one thing, that is yes. If somebody is saying yes, that is freely given consent, where both person need, wants and desires are integral part of the interest. So if yes is there, that is If the word yes is there, that means that is a yes consent. So don't say maybe if you want to say no. If you really want to say no, you should say no or yes. So stand up for the peer pressure. Just say no, no for no. Leave the scene and say, see you later. Make up any excuse. If you feel that you are uncomfortable there, you can make any excuse like I don't want to stay here, or I have some work, I am going. So like that. Or you can make some humor also, like if my parents found out that they would lock me in the room for 30 years and I'll have to eat broccoli and bangan for years. So this way you can make any type of excuse, or you can change the subject. Like, oh, I have just forgotten to tell you about this. Or you can suggest something else. Like, I have a better idea. Let's check out somewhere else. So remember to always listen to your gut instinct. If you are not comfortable at some places, if you feel that it is not good for you, you must always remember that what your instinct tells you should listen to that. So becomes women with vision, dreaming of a better future for our future generation, and it is never too young to respect a woman. And this is a quote by Malala Yousafzai. You all know that I want every girl to know that her voice can change the world. So with this, we will end this session now. Again, I will request you that you have done your registration and pre-test. You should be doing your post-test and fill your feedback form. Then only the certificate of participation will be awarded to you. And my sincere thanks to all those who have helped to collaborate this project. These are the people who have made these slides. So thank you so much. So hashtag Dheera together, let's tweet together. And our target is 1 lakh plus tweets. So add your courageous voice to the conversation. Say no to violence against women. Thank you so much. Hello? Anybody there? Hello? Yeah. Yeah, Ms. Sanobar? If anybody has any question, can ask. Any children, they want to ask something, they can stand and ask. Or any teacher, if they have any suggestions, they can ask.
Madam, I shared the link in the group and I posted some feedback.
Yeah. And anybody can ask, Ms. Sanovar, if you can ask them. And we have posted a link in the chat box. Hello.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes. Hello. Echoing. Hello. Hello. Anybody has any question? Or we can.
Actually, the problem is the mic is giving some kind of trouble, ma'am.
Okay, okay.
When we bring the mic closer to the mobile, there is a echoing of the voice.
No, mic, they can directly talk on the mobile, no? Directly they can talk.
हाँ से आ रहा है। तो मैम जल्दी आपको ठीक आ रहा है।
Yes, tell me.
My one is okay. You can try out with this. I don't think there is requirement of a mic. This will do.
Directly
Yes,
they can talk. Directly they can talk, yeah.
Come fast, come fast. हाँ.
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, I want to know what is gender bias.
Gender bias. What is the meaning of gender? Can you tell me the meaning of gender?
The example male, female.
Male and female, है ना? And bias?
क्या होगा?
Bias का मतलब क्या होता है? Gender bias.
Having differences.
Ah. So you have to understand that gender bias is very common. Males are considered weak, they are strong. Hello. Hello.
वही बात बोलेंगे ये नहीं घर में तो हम खाएंगे
Hello.
मेरा
Please mute yourself. Hello.
सत्यजीत सर ही क्लियर बताएंगे
Mr. Ansari, please mute yourself. Yeah. So that is what I want to tell you, that gender bias is it is again a social evil, because now if you want equality, both the males and females should be equal. For that you have to forgo this gender bias. That is gender bias. Hello.
No. Thank you, ma'am.
Anything else?
Any girl student?
Yeah, girl student should ask. Actually.
Any girl student who wants to ask a question related to the webinar that we had right now?
इन लोगों को समझ में भी आया कि नहीं कुछ?
Yes, come.
Yes.
You come here.
Yes.
Tell your name and the questions. Stand there.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Yeah, tell me.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If a girl is raped and the family doesn't support her, so what will she do in that condition?
See, this is a very, very pertinent question. Actually, you have to know that what is the age of a girl. If she is above 18 years, like if she is below 18 years, she is a minor. So in that case, that is again a crime, and there is a law against it. So she cannot go by herself, but she has to take help of their parents or their family members or any guardian if they can help it out. But normally there is nothing like that they cannot go and meet the police or police officials or something. They can go there and they can tell their problem with that. But that is very difficult, because that is a very important or very strong step that girl has to take if she really want to go and report. Because reporting, if you will report and if you will speak out, then only your voice will be listened. That is what we want to sensitize. And for that you have to change the mindset of your family members also. ऐसा नहीं है कि आपकी मम्मी को अगर आप बोलेंगी तो मम्मी आपकी बात नहीं सुनेंगी, ऐसा नहीं होता है. इसलिए उसमें यू हैव टू टेल कन्फाइन समबडी, अपने घर के किसी मेंबर को उसमें आपको लेना पड़ेगा कॉन्फिडेंस में, एंड देन यू कैन रिपोर्ट दैट इंसिडेंट. एंड देयर इज अ वेरी बिग डिफरेंस. अभी आप लोग बहुत छोटे हो, बिकॉज यू कैन नॉट बी इन दैट लेवल व्हेन यू आर एडल्ट. इफ यू आर एडल्ट, अगर आप 18 साल के ऊपर है, then at least you can go and report directly, because that is your wish. You can go and do that. But if you are below 18, then you have to take the help of somebody from your guardian, or they should come, because there is also an act for that. If there is a sexual harassment for any girl or any boy below 18 years, there is a POCSO act against which a lot of action has been taken. So for that, you have to speak out and you have to report to the police. That is important.
Thank you, ma'am.
Anybody more? Class 10, any student of class 10? Like, ma'am, I have a question. Today, one parent came to me.
Yes.
And the father and mother, they are separated for some reason or the other. But the two children, one is a boy and another is a girl. And now they are staying with the grandfather. Now the problem is that nobody is interested to pay off the fees for education of these two children. So what to be done in such situations? It's very typically different kind of a question, apart from what you are holding the seminar for, ma'am.
Because they are I mean, that has to be understood from the family members only, you know, because if they are staying with grandparents, then they are the responsible for their safety and for their education and for everything. So they are the one who are going to be responsible for that. So it's not. So
the grandparents had virtually approached me, and he was just asking me what to do in such a situation. So I was rather speechless what to do.
No, but there is a law, no, that parents, they have to support their children. They have to. Father has to support of the person who is working in the, I mean, parents, if mother and father, if both are working, then they have to support their children. So that is until they are minor. I mean, once they become adult, then maybe they have to look after themselves. But before, I mean, if they are minor, then they have to be supported by their parents. That is there.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Anything? I think most of you must have understood what we wanted to tell you. Maybe you are not able to, I mean, grasp everything, but if few things also you can grasp from this. Basically, what we want to sensitize you all that what is violence against women. And it's not that the violence is occurring only against women. It is violence which is occurring against men and female both. So you have to identify such type of behavior and such type of violence. So, and how to react in such cases, that is what you have to. Yes, tell me.
I have a question.
Hello.
Ma'am, why it is necessary to dress modestly in offices or?
What are you saying? Hello. Yeah.
Why it is necessary to dress modestly in offices or any other place? Why is it necessary to wear modestly?
Without.
Why is it necessary?
No. You can talk without the mic, no?
Probably. It's okay. Anyway, ma'am, we are having some technical snag. So,
Yeah.
Eco.
Hello.
Now it's okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Ma'am, why
Link, hello, link है ना?
is or any other places?
हेलो, अरे मेरा वेबिनार चल रहा है, बात नहीं, थोड़ी देर में बात करें. हाँ, हेलो. Yeah, tell me.
Ma'am, why is it necessary to dress modestly in offices or any other places?
No, it's not like it's your wish the way you have to dress. Now that is what we are saying, that we should not be the bridging the gap means that you can if you can carry yourself in different type of dresses, it is okay. But if you cannot carry yourself, if you cannot if somebody points at you and you cannot retaliate and if you cannot speak out, then that is not the good way to wear in that way. So it's not that you should always be wearing modestly. You should wear it in that way. But if you feel that you can carry yourself in different dresses also, different type of dresses which is not modest, then you should be careful and you should be knowing the consequences of that, and you should be knowing how to answer, how to react in that situation. That is very important. Okay, so that is what we say.
Ma'am, and
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. There is some technical snag somewhere. So shall we wind up?
Yes, we can wind up. It was and I just want to tell you that there is a link shared in the chat box. So you can take that link and just with this, you can do the post test and the feedback form you can fill. So that all the children who have joined today, they will be getting the certificate of registration, participation for that. Okay.
So now
have you seen this link in the chat box? Hello? Miss Hina Parveen. I have got the attendance link. No, there is a link shared in the chat box. Dheera student post test and feedback link. You can see.
Okay, ma'am. Just now also, ma'am. Again.
Yeah, again he's posting. Again you have posted.
Yes, madam. Just now.
Just now one more. Again they have posted. So you can take this link. And with this, you can do the post test and the feedback form so that the certificate of participation will be given to you, all the children who have joined today. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
So this link, you can take this link.
Okay.
All right?
Okay, ma'am.
With this, you can do that. Okay. So now shall we leave now?
Yes.
End this meeting. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, bye.
Okay, now.
Yes.